don't it?
So we've chatted about some Borderlands pre-sequel characters.
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing that T-shirt back in just to kind of set consistency throughout all of these features that we've been doing. And we're finally getting to a character that you played for the first time at this event. Take it away. What'd you think?
Yeah, which is not Claptrap, unfortunately.
Right.
They're holding back on the Claptrap. From my understanding, Claptrap is going to be looking at like a low angle. It's going to have a different perspective on everything.
And something you have to ask yourself: why am I really excited to play as Claptrap?
Yeah, and I'm
Beyond
also
it just
very
being
curious.
amusing?
Like, the question is, will Claptrap need oxygen? Is there, how different is he going to be than everyone
Well,
else?
he'd clearly be the most OP character out of all of them. If you could basically play as Claptrap to turn on cheat mode. Who
Right.
knows?
Will he be able to go upstairs?
But who's our guy or gal for
So
today?
the next one is Nisha, the Lawbringer, and she's probably the most random one. I mean, they all feel a little bit random, but she was in an area in Borderlands 2 that I don't even know for sure if you had to go to. It was like this old west town. And they play on that a lot. She's kind of like a gunslinger, and she's got like one skill tree. It's called Law and Order that like buffs up her defense and her melee attacks. Her melee is actually, oddly enough, it's a whip. So you get more distance with the whip, but then it doesn't really feel like it's very effective. So it's strange. Like, do I ever want to melee with this character? But I think if you invest in that skill tree, it'll be better.
Is a whip new for Borderlands? Have they had that before as a weapon?
No, they've never had that. They've had swords and things, but not an actual
It's
whip.
interesting when they were talking about the shield character earlier, Athena.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun that that they've all these expansions and all this content. There's been a lot of Borderlands to sift through. I mean, if you're totally new to the franchise, this is going to take you 200 hours to get through all this stuff, and yet still haven't explored some of these things.
Yeah, and then then her action skill is it's pretty cool. It puts a whole sepia filter on everything, so it goes really onto the Old West. But what it does is it basically puts an auto lock on enemies. So you don't have to aim. You just fire away, and if you move to the left or right, you'll just lock onto the next enemy that's there, and it's really, really effective, and you get to use it a lot. It doesn't have a very long cooldown, so you can deal a lot of damage with Nisha. And then her other skill trees, there's one of them called Fan the Hammer, which allows her to create, like, if you have a pistol, it will create a copy of that pistol and you'll dual wield.
Oh, cool.
And
can you dual wield anyway? Does she always just have one gun?
I think she's just usually has one gun. I mean, I think there may be ways to dual wield others, but this actually creates a copy of whatever pistol you're holding. And then the one that I went with was Rifle Woman, which puts more boosts to like assault rifles and sniper rifles. And I went with I forget what the manufacturer is called, but I went with one of the assault rifles that has kind of the spinning kind of Gatling gun type barrel. And the longer you hold down the trigger, the faster it goes. So with her in auto lock, it was just like totally spraying everything and just destroying guys. And she was in an area that had these kind of weird glowing craters and like a lot of beasts coming out. And the beasts, I don't know if they were made of ice or whatever, because like I didn't have a cryo gun, but they were shattering like if I had frozen them. And then the other thing that was with one of the action skills with the upgrade I had is, so after once she gets done to that part of the mode where you're just auto locking and damaging everything, even if you hadn't killed them in that time frame, every single enemy you damage, those bullets have like explosive effects, and so she pulls out a detonator and just blows them all up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's an upgrade to that skill.
So you mentioned she was a random character. Is that are you speaking mostly of just?
I mean,
kind
she
of
didn't
like
have
the
like a lot of
style?
presence in the story in Borderlands 2.
Oh, so a random selection, not necessarily like her. Because it seems like of all the characters we've talked about so far, I don't know, maybe Claptrap's like way more gun focused than her, but it's like gun. I see the word guns pop up whenever people talk about Borderlands, so it makes sense to have like a very gun specific character. Is there any way? Yeah, that is she more like powerful with certain types of guns? Does she have an edge?
Well, that's
on
what I
all
was
the other
saying. The
characters?
skill tree I went on, she's more powerful with rifles.
Okay.
And then the other skill tree, she'd be more powerful.
Any
with
skill
pistols.
tree? You seem to kind of favor certain specific skill trees with some characters. Was that your
Yeah,
favorite
well,
one with
I
her?
picked Rifle Woman. She was actually the hardest one to pick because the others just, there was just something there that like really stuck out to me, and hers I didn't know which one, so I just picked one and went with it. But again, having that Gatling gun rifle and having the rifle skill tree, like that worked really well together, especially with that crazy action skill of hers.
So $1 million question. We've talked about 3 characters so far. To wrap up, we have Athena with the shields. We have I don't remember the name of
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm with the drones, and
he also had the Cyber Commando upgrades. Yeah.
And then how do you spell the one today? What was it?
Nisha.
Nisha. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite? Which one did you like more than any other?
She was my favorite to play as. Just the amount of mass carnage that you can inflict with her was really fun. She's also really kind of dark. She was like, I haven't, what was it? We can probably just play it straight up, but she said something like, I haven't felt this good since my mom died, or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're really going there, Borderlands. Which, it's something we actually haven't talked about with these characters. I mean, how does the writing feel? Like, I know and especially in some of the expansions, they've really gone out there. I think one of my favorite concepts was the role-playing one, like D&D in space expansion. Does this seem more serious? I mean, you're dealing with villains essentially, like people who will turn to the dark side before the story is out. Do you get any hint of that? Any kind of
with her personality, you definitely get a little bit of hint of that. But yeah, Anthony Birch is back. He was actually there. He was one of the guys walking me through kind of what's going on and everything. But so far, we really haven't seen a lot of the story stuff. There have been, sort of characters that we haven't seen before just kind of pop over the comms, and, Jack will be in an argument with them or whatever, and it's like, well, that girl's crazy. But, yeah, we haven't actually seen, like, a key story moment yet. It's just really been more about the action and how the different characters play out at their top level. So.
Well, good. I'm glad you're not creeping on my character, because I like Wilhelm. I think that's the guy I'll stick to. So if we play together, then you can play as Nisha, and we'll both be happy. Unless Claptrap just destroys everything. Unless it's clearly like you get like a special achievement for just playing as Claptrap. Why do you think they're holding on him? Why do you think?
I think it's probably a mix of they want it to be special, and also they're trying to figure out like, does the differences like actually screw with the gameplay, and then how do they adapt to that? Because if he's looking at everything from a lower vantage point from everybody else, it's like, okay, well, if you're playing as Claptrap, can you not see that chest on the top of a building or something?
Maybe he'll have like spring bounces or stuff, or like, I don't know, when they did the Star Wars prequels, R2D2 suddenly had
Claptrap jump?
R2D2 had like jetpacks and all sorts of crazy tools.
Exactly.
It's like, what? Why didn't he use that jetpack? Could have helped you out on the sail barge there, R2D2. So you haven't seen him in action. We had one trailer where they announced that he was a playable character in the game, but like, we haven't obviously played as him yet, or seen anyone play him. You haven't even seen him even just roaming the battlefield or any cutscenes or anything.
I'm trying to remember if I saw a glimpse of him at one point, but we definitely haven't seen anyone playing as him, like from that perspective. So
yeah, so that's obviously the next thing. What's one other thing the next time you play Borderlands, the pre-sequel that you want to check out?
I mean, it might be good to get into another environment, because we are just seeing a lot of Gray Moon stuff. I mean, seeing those, the new like glowing craters is slightly different, but not really.
Did they tease anything? Were they talking about like, we recognize the environments are
when when they first showed it, they said they were kind of like almost put up that wall, like, it's gonna have different environments too, so. But we'll just have to see how that actually works out. There's definitely times where you see like just giant laser beams shooting into the moon and creating like these big chasms of lava and stuff.
So seeing a lot, but still have a lot more to see.
Yeah. And, these games are big, and they're not really doing anything to the engine, so they're just putting the content in there.
You can review this puppy when it comes out?
Probably.
You have so much experience.
We'll see, though.
With the franchise.
If this is coming up at the same time as the Forza Horizon comes in, then I might have to pass it off to Ben or somebody.
Well, thanks for going to check it out, man. Thank you for lots to talk about, and hopefully lots more soon.